Reminder, I play on Minecraft Java Edition. Seeds in Java Edition and Bedrock Edition are similar, but still a bit different. Structures like villages or mansions do not generate in the same places between versions. Terrain will be very similar, but things like trees will often generate a bit differently. Version parity does not mean everything is the same, just know that before using these seeds on Bedrock Edition. Jumping into the seed, I was focused on the mountains, but I quickly realized this is a great building seed. There's a nice plains area to build, and the mountains provided some great natural scenery to the area. And this water area could be a great feature for a build too. But let me get back to why I wanted to show this seed originally. There's a circular mountain range right next to the spawn point, and in the middle is a cherry grove and a village. I get excited enough as it is to find cherry grove villages, but to put it in the middle of a mountain ring really increases that excitement. I love seeing villages generate with the pink petals around them. The mountain backdrop just makes it even more scenic. The village itself isn't that spectacular. It generates with a mason's house and a bunch of regular houses, but that doesn't really matter because we're just here for the scenery of this place. Mountains naturally have a lot of cave entrances and ravines, but I wanted to point out this one specifically. It's a big drop that leads down to a dripstone cave area. There are a few ways you can go, but if you keep going down, it will eventually lead all the way down to the deep dark. And if you take a specific path through the caves, you'll head right to an ancient city. Maybe not a place you want to go right when you start off your world, but it's awesome knowing this is super close to the spawn of this seed. If I go back above ground now, just northwest of spawn, there's another cherry grove village area. This is just a little tiny cherry grove biome, but I think this little cave type area is pretty cool. I can imagine a base being built here. The village itself is pretty great, with 2 blacksmiths, a church, a library, an armorer, and 2 toolsmiths. This plains continues as a great place for a spawn area build, especially with this ocean here. And there's more cherry grove over there. But of course, that cherry grove within a circular mountain range next to spawn is the biggest reason to try out this seed. When I was looking for a woodland mansion village island seed for my recent island village seeds video, I came across this. Clearly, it's not an island, though it is one of those seeds that I loaded into and knew I wanted to share in a video, so here it is in this one. And if you want to see the seeds that I decide to share in other videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel. This is clearly a mansion village seed right at spawn, but there's also 2 other villages right next to spawn too. All 3 villages are within 300 blocks of each other. The spawn village generates with some funky terrain, like this house here, this area here, and a forest rock generating in this building. The village has a blacksmith in it, and of course, it's super close to the woodland mansion. And there's a shipwreck right next to the mansion too, and inside of the mansion, I found some alleys, a maze room, 2 arena rooms, and a spider spawner. And then towards the north, we've got this village. It's a fairly typical plains village with some bits generating in the water. It has a tannery and 3 temples. The way this terrain generates is pretty cool. A lot of this one generates in the water, and there's a bit of cherry grove right at the top. This village generates with a Fletcher's house and a bunch of just small houses. This cave opening here leads down to a big cave. Oh, and by the way, underground around spawn, there's lush caves. I mean, there's just so much to check out right at spawn in this seed. The terrain around spawn in this seed is just absolutely incredible. We've got mountains, lots of different forest types, and cliffs. And the terrain causes this to happen too. This really does look awesome. That's really all that needs to be said, but let me explain further. The Outpost generates with the tower, a log collection, an iron golem cage, 3 sets of pumpkin scarecrow targets, and a couple of alley cages. Speaking of which, this ocean ruin generates conflicting with one of the alley cages. It causes the mobs to be stuck a bit, and for a chest to be inside of the cage. Then that shipwreck really just completes this area. A nice full shipwreck floating out of the ocean on the side of a cliff is just really cool. Pairing it in with the other 2 structures just makes it fantastic. The terrain alone is worth a look at the seed, but the structures make it even better. Just a word of advice from me. Sometimes when you add jungle biomes to stony peaks biomes, it creates some really awesome looking terrain. But before we take a look at it, comment with the word win. That's today's comment of the day. I'll be sure to leave a heart on the comment. Back to the terrain now. Those jungles and stony peaks get even better when they're near an ocean. It can cause some really awesome looking cliffs. And then we throw a roofed forest into the area, and this right here can happen. The mansion meets under a section of stony peaks and frozen peaks, which looks really awesome. We have the frozen section going down this one section of cliffs, and then the waterfall going down the stony section of cliffs. The entrance of the mansion is waterlogged, and the waterfall coming down next to it just looks awesome. Inside of the mansion, I found alleys, an arena room, and every floor has lush caves generating throughout it, which creates some really cool looking scenes. But my favorite part is that the top floor actually gets blocked off due to the cliff and cave generation. There's just a wall blocking off the top floor here. The mansion isn't the only feature within the cliffs though, because this ruined portal generates on the side of the cliffs too. I think this looks pretty cool. Not the most convenient spot for a ruined portal to generate if you're playing in survival though. If we go west along the cliffs, we come across this hollow cave-like area. The waterfalls in front add to how awesome this area looks. Just a really cool spot. One of my favorite ways for Minecraft worlds to generate. Back at spawn, on the opposite side, we've got these cliffs that generate around water, creating a lagoon type area. The only thing that would make this area look cooler is if the cliffs on this side generated higher. But I think I'm just nitpicking there, because this is a really awesome world generation as it is. And then continuing over past this little savanna area, we can find a plains village. It generates with a tannery and blacksmith right next to each other. And I mostly wanted to show this because it's got sections of ocean on both sides, but it leads to more typical Minecraft terrain if you're looking for that. But yeah, that spawn area with the mansion and cliffs really just starts off an incredible seed. Recently, I've been doing a lot of searching for mountain circle seeds with lakes in the middle, but my favorite one I've found so far doesn't actually have a lake. Instead, it's this cherry grove surrounded by mountains. It really is a cool look to see the pink trees surrounded by mountains. This could absolutely be a great seed to play on. But this right here is why I really like this seed. This hole in the ground leads all the way down to an ancient city. I mean, how awesome is that? That's not something you see in every seed, let alone right at spawn. Just such a cool thing to come across. The spawn area is really awesome, but outside of it is too. We've got more mountains, and then on the edge of the spawn mountains, there is this cave opening. It's a dripstone cave and it has some really awesome looking pillars holding it up. Then we have this village in a valley between two mountain ranges. It partly generates within a cherry grove biome. Definitely a really cool place for this village to generate. Continuing on, we find this pillager outpost. Along with the tower, it generates with a couple tents, an empty cage, a set of pumpkin scarecrow targets, and a log collection. And right next to the outpost is this big ruined portal. It generates in a sparse jungle, and it really has a nice view of the spawn mountains from here. And this is the last location I wanted to show in this seed. It's a meadow ruined portal village. This is a great village. Along with the ruined portal, it has 3 churches or temples, a toolsmith, and a blacksmith. This is just a really awesome Minecraft seed, and it all starts off with that beautiful cherry grove with a mountain circle at spawn. And with that, I say subscribe, like, comment, become a member. I'm out of here. See ya.